If you do not find yourself on the verge of tears by the end of this movie, then you could jump off a cliff. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a little... No, that wasn't a little too harsh. That was very harsh. But that's pretty much my feelings towards E.T. It's one of those movies that you have to be insane not to love, or at least become emotionally affected by. It's almost pointless to describe the plot to E.T., but basically for you, one person who doesn't know what E.T. is about, an alien gets abandoned on Earth accidentally. He is found by a kid named Elliot, who kind of befriends him, names him E.T., and he's basically helping this alien phone home so the mothership can come back to Earth and pick him up. Simple as that, and that's as simple as it needs to be. I was born about 9 years after this movie came out, so I didn't see it in the theater when it first came out, at least the original version. I saw it on VHS when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I remember liking it a lot, but it was one of those movies where I didn't really focus too much on the plot or what was going on, as simple as it is. I was just more fascinated by the alien E.T., the way it looks, and just how amazing the movie was. It wasn't until I saw it recently on Blu-ray where I was like, wow, this movie is amazing, and almost made me cry several points, and I'm not afraid to admit that. There are also a lot of things I noticed that I didn't notice the first time seeing it, or when I saw the 2002 20th anniversary version of it in the theater. The main one is that the theme of this movie is, pardon the pun, alienation, where there's this alien that comes to Earth, obviously, but the other side of alienation is Elliot, played by Henry Thomas, has experienced his parents going through divorce, meaning that the two adults that matter in his life have separated. Dee Wallace is the mother, and she's the only one that Elliot really seems to care about or listen to or trust, because he's really been affected by the divorce. And that's one of the reasons why the entire movie, with the exception of Dee Wallace, the adult actors are either shown in silhouette or from the waist down until you see Peter Coyote's character when E.T. is sick and dying. Another small thing I noticed watching again is that for anyone who knows the history of video games, there was an E.T. game for the Atari 2600, and I found it funny that on top of the TV in Elliot's home, there is an Atari 2600 console, and I just thought that was like some unintentional foreshadowing of the really shitty game that would come from this fantastic movie. And speaking of shitty things to come from this fantastic movie, in 2002, this was one of the movies that got the Star Wars Special Edition treatment, where there were a lot of enhancements made to E.T., most notably the CG E.T. that's been replacing some of the animatronics. And the CG E.T. actually bothered me even more than the more controversial moment in that version where the policemen's shotguns are replaced by walkie-talkies. But thankfully for the Blu-ray, Spielberg has apologized, admitted he was wrong, and the original version has been restored. So basically, no walkie-talkies, but shotguns. So, I mean, a little side note, now that Disney has Star Wars, I'm still waiting for them to release the original trilogy on Blu-ray in their unaltered forms. But back to E.T., it just really is a really great movie. John Williams' score is one of the most iconic ever, next to Jaws, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Superman, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter. I almost said Back to the Future, but that wasn't his. It's just like the whole theme when they're on the bikes, just the da na 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 da na 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 is just, you have to be living in a cave to not know what that theme is as soon as someone hums it. Just like a lot of other John Williams scores, but there's not much I can say that hasn't been said over the past 32 years since this movie's been out. It's emotionally powerful. It is the perfect kids movie, and even works for adults also. The key essential live action kids movie that adults can enjoy also. It's Spielberg's personal passion project, and you can really tell with all the love and just effort he put into this movie. And there's a reason why it stood the test of time these many years. Now, really briefly, before I get my rating, to address the movie that came out a few weeks ago, Earth to Echo, I did not bother to see it, and I don't think I will bother to see it, because it just looks like an E.T. ripoff that's 32 years too late. I mean, right down to the little finger with the poster. It's like, why would I want to watch this when I can just watch E.T. at home? So that's just my tiny rant about Earth to Echo. I know it's not fair since I haven't seen it, but it just looks like a big E.T. ripoff. And I heard it's just meh. But anyway, my rating for E.T., it's pretty obvious. It's get off your ass and go see it right now if you haven't. Parents, show your kids E.T. because it is truly one of the great films ever made. And if you haven't seen it yourself and you're not a kid, then see it now, because it's E.T. It's from Steven Spielberg. You won't be disappointed if you see E.T. And that's my review for E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. Leave a comment and tell me what you thought of the movie. Subscribe to my channel for more stuff in the future. Check out my other channel, AlexG8462. You can find links to my Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram accounts on my YouTube page. Go check me out on letterboxd.com under The Real Mr. Robinson. And check out my written reviews on Geeked Out Nation. Share me with your friends and tell them about me. And remember to know it before you see it. This is The Real Mr. Robinson, and in the words of E.T., I will be right here.